The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the manfromleng. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this episode, we are continuing with our campaign with Roland Banks and Joe Diamond through the Forgotten Age. We finished off the City of Archives last stream, and now we are headed back into the Depths of Yoth. And we'll see if the boys can get out of this, and perhaps we will be able to finish off this campaign and start a new one here in short order. The boys are looking pretty rough, so it's going to be difficult for them, I think, to get to the end, but we will do our best. Before I get started, I just want to thank the patrons of this channel for their tremendous support. If you'd like to become a patron of the channel, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. I would be eternally grateful if you went over there and signed up to become a patron. Hi, Amelia. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is going to be tough. You'll see when we take a look at the boys here. Roland Banks and Joe Diamond, they earned 5 experience points after City of Archives. So Roland decided he would swap one of his machetes and purchase a time-worn brand. That should give him a little more offense as long as we can find it. And Joe Diamond, he used his 5 experience points to remove his last copy of Deduction 0 to upgrade it to Deduction 2, and we also added a copy of Studious to the deck. Here is a summary of the campaign so far. The boys are looking pretty rough at this point. Those poison weaknesses are really taking a toll on them. Roland Banks has suffered 5 physical trauma and 2 mental trauma, while Joe Diamond has suffered 4 physical trauma. So they don't have a whole lot of life between them. The Harbinger is still alive, of course, and he has 2 damage. And we have 6 ticks under Yig's Fury, which means we will be starting this scenario on Agenda 2A rather than Agenda 1A. We just missed the breakpoint is 5, so we just missed having starting on 1A. The relevant changes for this session, Alejandro did remember everything. The process was successful in the City of Archives, so Alejandro has remembered everything, and so he is back with us. Ichitaka, of course, is set against us, which was we knew that was going to happen all the way back in after we failed to do very well in the Boundary Beyond. So they are rough. There's a lot of stuff that happens between the City of Archives and the Depths of Yoth. We had to go through to check if the way is open. We do have the chalk, so the way is open, which means we suffer no ill effects. Otherwise, we would have not been able to mulligan when we drew our opening hands. We had to check our supplies. We didn't have any provisions left, so we suffered low on rations. So we will start the scenario with 3 fewer resources. Roland is doing slightly better than Joe in that respect, because he, when he searches his deck, and he finds... he found a copy of Astounding Revelation, so he gets actually 4 resources to start the game off rather than 2. We checked our supplies, and of course the poison spread because we're out of medicine, and they each suffered a physical trauma, and then we needed the blanket again. Joe has a blanket, but Roland does not, so he suffered yet another physical trauma while Joe slept soundly that night. I believe that brings us up to date for the campaign. Yeah, Amelia, I'm not hopeful. The interlude between City of Archives and the Depths of Yoth hit them pretty hard with physical trauma. So they don't have a lot of life. So not a whole lot of room for slip-ups. They're gonna need their allies out very quickly to survive. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great week. We are set up in ready to go in Octagon. We had to choose a random location to start the investigation off at, and we drew the Forked Path. It's a 2-shroud location with 2 clues per investigator. And when you explore while at Forked Path, we check our supplies. If you have a map, we get to go to 2 connecting locations if able. But we do not have the map, so that is irrelevant. Of course, we have our exploration deck here with 5 our 5 locations in it, including the Depths of Yoth. So our goal will be to find the Depths of Yoth. We will need 6 clues in order to advance advance the depth level by 1, and I believe the target is 4, if I'm not mistaken. I think 4. At 4 you don't... so at 4 we don't suffer any physical trauma or anything like that, besides the trauma we'll take if we are defeated, which I believe has to happen at some point if we are going to end this scenario. So it seems very likely the boys will be even more beat up by the time this one is done. It wouldn't be too bad for Joe to take a mental trauma. Poor Roland, well, he doesn't have that many options, either physical or mental, so we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we can get out of here with a few experience points, pick up some... he does have those 2 copies of I've Had Worse too, though, which hopefully will help him stave off some of the pain that's coming his way. I think we're set up and we're ready to draw our opening hands here. So we do get to mulligan. Roland gets to start with an additional 2 resources at 4, and Joe is at 2, but Joe gets an additional card because of he picked up that studious permanent. So let's see how Roland does in the for a starting hand. He gets an Inquiring Mind, a Calling in Favors, a Guts, a Vicious Blow, and an I've Had Worse. We're gonna mulligan pretty much all of that. I think we'll keep the I've Had Worse just because that will keep us in the game a little bit longer. So we get 4 cards. We get a Logical Reasoning, a 45 automatic, another Logical Reasoning. Wow. So if he gets a clue, we could heal quite a bit of... We could heal some of that horror on him. And a Pathfinder. So we've got a weapon. It's not the Time-Worn brand, though, so we're going to need to find something better, I think, than the 45, because we're going to be facing a lot of enemies. Let's see how Joe does. He will get 6 cards. And he gets a Pathfinder, a Vicious Blow, the Death card, so he's starting that off, starts with that in play. Hi Brandon, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it today. We've got a Beat Cop and a Logical Reasoning. So I think we're full up on Logical Reasonings. We will put those there. I think we keep... We're probably going to need 2 guys to fight. But we need investigation more. So we'll keep the Pathfinder. Drop the Vicious Blow. Keep the Deduction so we can grab all the clues at this location. So we get 3. There's a Shortcut, a Machete, and a Vicious Blow. So no Myelin, but we do get to start with the Death card in play, so that gives us an extra intellect. Okay. Well, I think we're probably going to take a setup turn here, and just so we are ready to fight. I think what we'll do... I think Roland might actually play his Prepared for the Worst here to search for that time-worn brand. See if we can't get that out quickly and go from there. So as our first action, I believe we will pay 1 resource and play Prepared for the Worst to search the top 9. And we'll see how we do. There is no time-worn rut. In fact, there are no weapons in the top 9 cards at all. So that is a whiff on the Prepared for the Worst. So that's not great. Not a great start there. So we whiff on the Prepared for the Worst. So now we just have... I guess what we can do is play... I believe this is once per turn, is it not? Yes, so we cannot play another card off of Stick to the Plan. So we're going to have to... I think we'll take a resource and then play our... and then play the 45 automatic. So we have a weapon out to start off the game. And that will be it for Mr. Roland Banks. We go to Joe. I think, well, Joe needs resources. I think what we'll do, we will, actually we're going to gain a resource as our first action. We need to draw from his from the hunch deck. I almost forgot first turn of the game, so let's do that first before we do anything else. Shuffle up his hunch deck. Joe's hunch is going to be scene of the crime. So we could discover a clue at our location. Is that worthwhile? I guess, because that puts us at 3 clues. That would leave us with only 3 clues to pick up. So sure, we will play that for free because of his -2 cost deduction. So we will grab a clue as our first action. We will gain a resource as our second action. And then as our third action, we will play the machete. So we have, both of them have some offense. So if we get swarmed by enemies, we will be able to fight. And Joe has a vicious blow that can help out with that. So that is going to be it for our first, for the first investigation phase. No enemies to worry about. We go to upkeep. Roland draws a Eureka, so perhaps that will help him find that time-worn brand. And Joe draws a Steadfast. So that's got a lot of willpower. Actually, 4, so he's at 14, 10... Oh, he's just on the bubble. So Steadfast is fully, it's got 3 of each icon, but if we take 1 damage or horror, we are in trouble. So Roland could also use an ally here sooner than later. So first mythos phase of the game. Roland has been our first investigator, so he will continue in that role. We add 1 doom to Horrific Descent, and Roland's card is Lightless Shadow. Test 1 agility. This test gets +1 difficulty, where X is the current depth level. If you fail, take 2 damage. So that is going to be a 2 difficulty agility skill test, and we are at 2 agility. We do have the I've had worse if we need to prevent that damage, which we probably will. Hi, David. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Yes, that auto fail in Waking Nightmare was pretty pivotal to. Yes, I did reset Joe's hunch deck. Darren, thanks very much for asking. His hunch deck is all good to go. We've actually didn't forget the first time for a while here, so we're going to take this Agility 2 skill test. Now, the question is, do we commit anything to it? What are our tokens like? The tablets, we've got 3 tablets, which is reveal another token. That's not bad. The Elder thing is -2. That's not bad. And the skulls are -1. So those aren't bad either. So maybe we can commit the Eureka. So we'll go... what does Joe have? Does Joe have anything? He's got a shortcut, I guess, we could throw, but shortcut's very useful. We'll just commit the Eureka. So we'll go 3 versus 2. Chaos Bag says 0, so we do succeed. So no damage for Roland. And we get to search the top 3 cards of our deck for a card and draw it. So that's nice. And there is the Time-Worn Brand. 3rd card down. So that Eureka definitely paid off in that case. So we get the Time-Worn Brand next turn. Awesome. That's about as good as we could have hoped for. Yes, Brandon, I prefer Octagon. I haven't used TTS, and I'm very familiar with Octagon's controls, and I can add cards myself to it, so it's pretty easy for me to. I've been using it since I started playing the Lord of the Rings LCG, so Octagon is my preferred way to play. We need an encounter card for Joe. Joe gets an Ancestral Fear, so we have to either place a Doom on your location and discard Ancestral Fear, or place Ancestral Fear in the victory display. It's Vengeance 1. Now, there's something that happens. I don't think there's any... I think probably adding a Doom is fine. In this case, we don't need to, because as soon as we load up the victory display with Vengeance cards, that Elder thing turns into an auto fail, and we don't need more auto fails. So that surges into low on supplies. I guess we're gonna lose some resources. Yeah, we're not discarding assets, so that's so Roland will lose 2 and Joe loses 1. And that will be the Mythos phase. All right, turn 2, Mythos phase. We want to get that Time-Worn Brand into play, so I think Roland's turn is pretty straightforward. We are going to play, we'll exhaust stick to the plan to play the Emergency Cache to gain 3 resources. Then we will use our next action to play the Time-Worn Brand for 5. And then we might as well do some investigating, because if we want to play one of these logical reasonings, we're going to need some clues. So we will investigate. We are going 3 versus 2. Chaos Bag says Elder Sign, so that is nice. We get +1 clue, +1 for each clue at our location. So we really pass that with flying colors. So we do get a clue. So now we have the ability to play our logical reasoning and get rid of some of that horror on us. Hi, yeah, David. No, I won't be attending Gen Con. It's falls at a bad time of the year for me. So I'm hoping to be able to attend Arkham Nights again this year. We'll just see how it's still a long way away. It's only February, so we'll see how things shake down as the year goes on. So Joe, he has no resources to his name, but he can do some investigation. So let's do that now. He is going 5 versus 2. Chaos Bag says -2, so we grab a clue. And we will use our next action to investigate. 5 versus 2. Chaos Bag gives us another -2, so we have cleared that location. We've got 4 of the 6 clues that we need. And we have 1 action remaining, so let's go explore. We will do some exploring. We will shuffle up this explore deck, and we've got lots of options. Bridge over Nakai is not one of them, surprisingly. We have Broken Passage. That is not one of them. Depths of Yoth. That is not one of them. Hall of Heresy. That is an option. All right, so we go to the Hall of Heresy. It's a 4-shroud location with 2 clues, and it has the important designator that it is, what is it connected to? It is connected to the Depths of Yoth, and is it connected to any of these other ones? It is not. So if we travel from, if we grab these 2 clues at Halls of Heresy, and then there's one more location. So chances are we could get to the Depths of Yoth next turn once we grab all of these clues here. 2-shroud location now. While an investigator is in Hall of Heresy, it is considered to be in the victory display for purposes of counting vengeance. So it is a -2. So if we had added that ancestral visage to the display, that the elder thing would be an auto fail right now. Hi Michael, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Yes, I will be sure to tell all the exciting tales of Arkham Nights if I do attend this year. It's a fun event. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to play in the Iron Man. I've played in the Iron Man the past couple years, and while I enjoyed it, I'm not sure if I enjoy it enough to spend the whole day playing it. Maybe I'll play something else this year. Just play some scenarios. We'll see. It's a long way away. They usually don't announce anything for Arkham Nights until, September, it seems, these days. So there's a long way to go. All right, nothing in the enemy phase. Roland draws an Inquiring Mind. Oh, we needed to draw the Hunch deck, so let's go do that before we forget. Maybe that will be relevant. So the Hunch deck gave us a No Stone Unturned. That's fine. We will just shuffle that back in. And Joe got Dr. Mylan Christopher, so that's pretty big. We do have the charisma out, so we can get him down and get that resource generation going. That would be very good. All right. That will do it for the turn. We go to turn 3, Mythos phase. There are 3 Doom in play, so we are advancing this turn. We advance to Fountain of Venom. Find the enemy that is in the pursuit with the highest evade value and spawn it at the location. There is no enemies in the pursuit, so that's fine. We have the option We have the option of collecting the strange liquid. We don't have the canteen, so we are not going to collect the strange liquid, even if we wanted to. We advance to Agenda 3A, the Endless Caverns. Okay, so that's gone. I don't think Doom stays in play on locations like it does in some of the other these other ones. So we need encounter cards. Roland's encounter card is going to be a Brood of Yig. Joe's encounter card is going to be a Brood. Well, that's apparently the Broods of Yig are on the march, and so both of our investigators draw a Brood of Yig. That makes it very simple. We will gain our actions, and we shall see what we can do. We need... Roland's got the Time-Worn Brand, so we're just going to attack this Brood of Yig. He gets +2 fight and deals a damage. So first action, we are at 6 versus... +1 fight for each vengeance point in the victory display. So the Halls of Heresy counts for that. So it's actually +2. So it's a 4. So we are 6 versus 4 for 2 damage. Let's see how we do Roland. We draw that -5. So we miss with our first attack. They don't have retaliate or anything like that. Roland will attack again, 6 versus 4. Chaos Bag says -2, so he takes the Brood takes 2 damage. Hi Juicy, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Hope you're having a great day. We are on level 1 of the Depths of Yoth, and Roland is attempting to kill a Brood of Yig. So we will try again, 6 versus 4, and we get a skull. That's a -1. So the Brood will die. And there are no clues at our location, so we can't grab any. Joe also has a Brood to fight. He is only a 5 versus 4, though, because he has a machete. Is it worth pitching the Vicious Blow? How many more expansions do you think the LCG has in it? I want it to go on forever. Yes, I do too. Well, they just announced they spoiled the Innsmouth Conspiracy. I believe it was yesterday. So we know the next deluxe expansion is going to be the Innsmouth Conspiracy. Obviously, there will be Deep Ones galore. That Cthulhu Encounter set from that was in the core set way back 3 years ago will probably be used quite a bit. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think they are creative enough. The designers, designer Matt Newman is a very creative man, so he will. I'm sure he has plenty of ideas to keep this game going as long as FFG is willing to print it. And from everything I understand, it's one of the better selling LCGs and is doing quite well. So that bodes well for the future of the game. Just got Diana through the greater good yesterday, so taking a small breather from that campaign. Yeah, I haven't played Marvel Champions yet. I have a friend who's a big comic book guy, but we haven't... Oh, that's good news. Yeah. That's good news that there's no end to the game in sight. I know players always get a little bit worried when FFG starts canceling other games like they did with Destiny. I mean, we've had Netrunner go down as well, and Game of Thrones. I think Lord of the Rings is going on hiatus. So yeah, there's a lot of changes at FFG, but it's good to hear that Arkham won't be affected. Yes, Darren reminded me that I should do the hunch deck, so good idea there. We get a working the hunch. So we can discover a clue here for free if we want. We will hang on to that. And we will attack this thing. Now, the vicious blow would put us at 4, 5, 6 versus 4. Let's try to get rid of this thing. 6 versus 4. Chaos Bag says that's a skull. That's a -1. So Joe takes care of this Brood of Yig in one shot. And it is dead. He is a more effective combatant than Roland is. Now we've got the choice of playing this working a hunch. It's a 4-shroud location. We might as well. It's free. And it's fast. So we can grab a clue here. And so we just need one more clue and then to find our way to the depths, or to the Depths of Yoth, and then we'll be good to go. We want to get out of this place because that vengeance is currently adding to the victory display. So we've got 2 actions remaining. We are at 5 versus 4. It's not great. But I need to save some resources to get Mylan down. So we'll just go 5 versus 4. Chaos Bag says Elder Thing, that's a -2. And we'll do it one more time. We get a 0. So we do clear that location. So we are ready to do some exploration next turn. And hopefully find the Depths of Yoth and head down to level 2. Nothing in the enemy phase. Joe draws yet another logical reasoning. Actually, Roland can now play a logical reasoning as well to heal 2 horror. So that's very nice. Because he has a clue. And Roland also draws a guts. So we have some way of protecting ourselves. He's got an inquiring mind, but there are no clues at our location right now, so that's not going to be all that effective. Okay, let's go to the mythos phase, turn 4. Roland's card is going to be... Oh, there he is. There's the Serpent from Yoth. Now, while there is 1 or more vengeance point in the victory display, Serpent of Yoth gains Retaliate. While there are 2 or more vengeance points in the victory display, he gains Hunter. So we can actually reduce this guy's impact by... we can reduce his impact by moving Joe out of that location next turn. So he won't have Retaliate or Hunter. 5 damage, so it's going to take us a bunch of whacks to kill this guy. But he's only 3 fight. So we would be 6 versus 3. It's pretty good. I think we can take him. I think we can take him as it stands. So that's we'll see next turn. Joe's card is going to be a Pit Warden. Now, just a sec here. No clues. I don't think... I just want to check something quickly to make sure I'm not screwing up. Okay, enemies are considered to be in pursuit. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that until we move. Okay, so he gets a Pit Warden. If Yig is in play, spawn Pit Warden. Otherwise, place Pit Warden in the pursuit area. Okay, where is our pursuit area? I guess it'll be over here somewhere. So Joe draws a Pit Warden, but it's just hanging out in the pursuit area. We don't have to worry about it quite this minute. So I think what we do here, we will have Joe go first. And And we will get him out of this location to just sort of alleviate get rid of some of those keywords on the serpent so he doesn't have retaliate. We don't need that. Let's draw a card from the hunch deck. We get an evidence. Okay, well that would have been helpful if we could defeat an enemy. But we don't have any enemies to deal with. So Joe is going to do some exploring. And we'll see what we can do. We get the broken passage again. Doesn't count. We get the City of Serpents, which does count. So the City of Serpents shows up. So we move there. City of Serpents, 3 shroud location with 1 clue, 2 clues, 1 clue per investigator. While it has no clues on it, it is considered to be in the victory display for the purposes of counting vengeance. So our options are we don't need these clues. We have enough clues to advance. So we could move back and explore again, and I think we would end up at the Depths of Yoth. So I am going to do that. So let's move back and explore again. And that should get us to the steps. It does. Yes, it does. So we go to the steps. 3 shroud location, 0 clues. When adding to the current depth level, if investigators at the Depths of Yoth possess 5 clues per investigator as a group, an investigator at steps crosses rope off his or her supplies, add 1 additional resource to the current depth level. I don't believe we have rope. I certainly wouldn't have taken that ahead of medicine or anything that would prevent the physical and mental trauma. So yeah, no rope to speak of, so we're just going to have to do this the hard way. And it is Roland's turn. So this serpent now loses the evidence will go away since we did not play it. And it's Roland's turn. Now Roland needs to fight the serpent. The serpent has lost retaliate because there are no vengeance points in the victory display. And it's not a hunter either. So we're just going to try to chop this guy down. We are going 6 versus 3 with the time-worn brand. Chaos Bag says 0, so he takes 2. We will do it again. 6 versus 3. Chaos Bag says 0. Wow, the Chaos Bag is being so much kinder to me today than it was yesterday. If you want to see how an auto fail tentacle can affect a game, just watch a bit of that Waking Nightmare playthrough I posted last night, and you can see how much damage it can really do. We have 1 action remaining, and we're going to just try to kill this serpent. 6 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -2. So the Serpent of Yoth will enter the victory display. So we're guaranteed at least 1 victory point out of this scenario. And Roland does his job. Nothing to do with enemies. Roland draws his weakness, chronophobia. So we will want to take the 2 actions to get rid of that right away, and then we can probably play the logical reasoning to heal some horror, and then that'll be our turn next turn. So not much to do. And we need to be there at the end of the round, so it's going to take us another couple rounds to get to the Depths of Yoth at this rate. What did Joe draw? Joe drew the death card, so that's not going to be all that helpful to us. But we do have 3 resources, so he's in position now that next turn he can take a resource and play Dr. Mylan Christopher. Right. All right. We are off to turn 5. We will go... Roland's encounter card is going to be Snake Scourge. Put it into play. If you're poisoned, it gains Surge, and it blanks our items, which is bad news for the old Time-worn brand. It is an item, I presume. It is. My gun is blank as well, and it surges into a Fang of Yig. Okay, that's pretty awful. That combination is not great, and the Fang has... we cannot play... while the Fang is engaged with a poison investigator, that investigator cannot play cards or commit cards to skill tests. So that's a bad combination to draw there. Joe will get Serpent's Ire. If there are no serpent enemies in pursuit, it gains Surge. Otherwise, find the serpent enemy in pursuit with the highest fight value and spawn it engaged with you. Well, there is only one serpent in pursuit, and that is this Pit Warden. So he will join the fight. So he's a 4 fight, 4 health, 1 evade. If Yig is in play, yada yada, he is a hunter and he's worth a vengeance point. So we don't want to kill him if we can help it. But we only have 2 evasion, 2 evade on Joe. So, but we have big problems now because we've got this guy here. We've got the Fang of Yig, who has Retaliate. And we cannot commit cards to the skill test. So how do we get out of this? How are we going to get out of this? Maybe these two aren't connected, are they? They are not. So if Joe wants to come back to help, problem is the blanking of the items is a huge issue. Cannot play cards. Wow, so I can't even play that shortcut to move closer to Joe. So Joe could shake the Pit Warden, but we don't... all we have is a Steadfast to help. I guess Joe could play the shortcut to get even closer. But then all we've got is a Steadfast to commit, and that's not going to be enough. We'd have to maybe dump... Wow, that Snake Scourge is just such a beast. So theoretically, we'd take 1 from the Chronophobia, 1 from the Fang, and I think Joe's got to go back, but I'm not too sure what he can do to help. Because Roland really can't fight that thing. He's only 4/3, and if we miss, he retaliates, and then we potentially die. Roland potentially dies this turn. If welcome to the stream, Lograk. Yes, it does go to the pursuit area, but Joe drew Serpent's Ire, which brought it out of the pursuit area and back to it was pulled back into play. So Joe, I guess, will go first. Let's see what his hunch deck has to offer. We get an evidence. That's not going to be that very helpful. We need to either fight this thing and kill it, or we need to evade it. What do we have to evade? I feel like, okay, so we've got we can give Joe could give Roland one icon. Or he could play the Steadfast to help him fight, but we just got he'd have to evade it. Maybe Roland tries to evade the Fang and then deal with the Chronophobia. That buys him a turn. I think that's probably our best option. So that means we need to get there. Okay, so let's give it a try. We're going to just go 2 versus 1. 2 versus 1 on the evade. Joe versus the Pit Warden. Chaos Bag says -2, so that's a failure. We can do it. We can try one more time. 2 versus 1. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. Okay, that may save us here. So the Pit Warden is evaded. Joe will play his shortcut to move back to the Halls of Heresy. Then he will use his final action to move back to the Forked Path. And we've got a Pathfinder we can commit to Roland's test. So Roland is going to try to evade the Fang of Yig. Joe will commit the Pathfinder. I believe that's all we can do because the Fang prevents us from playing or committing cards. So we're just going 3 versus 3. That is terrible, but it's really our only option at the moment. What's the Chaos Bag say? Chaos Bag gives us a tablet. Reveal another token if you fail. Place 1 clue on your location. All right, let's see how we do. We draw the -2. Okay, so that's a failure. So we have to place a clue on our location. And now we're going to take something from somewhere. It's just a matter of whether we're going to take damage from the Fang. I think we still need to evade the Fang if we can help it, because fighting it is too dangerous with that retaliate and no weapons. So we will go 2 versus 3 though. Is there any point? I guess none of the tokens hurt us in any way. None of the tokens would damage us or whatnot. So let's just try. 2 versus 3. Oh, atrocious. That's an auto fail, so that doesn't matter at all. And we will try again. 2 versus 3 and a -5. So an auto fail and a -5. So Roland fails. And is going to take a ton of punishment here. Despite our best efforts. So he takes one direct horror from Chronophobia at the end of his turn. During the enemy phase, he gets attacked and takes a damage and a horror. So we're at 6-4. And That's bad. We're going to get rid of the Snake Scourge, but who knows? The only positive, I guess, out of that is by dropping a clue back on the Forked Path, it turned on Inquiring Mind for both characters, both investigators. So that's something. That will be helpful. Snake Scourge is gone at the end of the round. But we need to kill this Fang of Yig. I think Joe will need to kill it. Hi, Brown Loaf. How are we doing? Not well. Not well. It's these boys entered the Depths of Yoth pretty beat up, and they when you get cornered by a Fang of Yig with Snake Scourge in play, you're in for a bad time. And Roland is just clinging to life here at the moment. What did... Oh, Joe drew an Inquiring Mind as well, so that's going to be... We'll see. We're going to need to get through the next turn. All right. So we go to turn 6. We've got 3 of 4 Doom. So we are going to advance next turn. Roland's card is going to be Serpent's Ire. You must either set aside, we must be poisoned, or draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Double Surge to just add to our misery. So let's see how that goes. First card is a Curse of Yig. That's -1 health and -1 combat. So that is not great. That piles on the hurt. Yes, the -5 and an auto fail in the same, in 2 tests. So yeah, basically 2 auto fails. So we've got -1 health, so we only have 2 health left. But the big thing is that -1 combat. Second card is going... Oh, you've got to be joking. All right, encounter deck. You can take your foot off my throat at any moment. You know, you don't have to do this way. Right? You don't have to like put your foot on my throat and then keep the pressure on. I was already in trouble. Hi, Vincent. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Roland is in deep trouble. Yeah, nice knowing you, Roland, is right. Killing 1 Fang was tough. Killing 2 Fangs is not possible. Unless Joe grabs both of them, but in doing so, he is going to... we could kill 1 Fang in 1 shot. Yeah, it does, Lograk. It really wants me to die. It saw this combo of investigators. It's like, no, these guys have to... These boys are from the city. They're not jungle material, and so... But we need a card for Joe too, and he gets Bathophobia. Test 1 willpower. This test gets +X difficulty for the depth. So it's a 2 versus 2. I think Roland will commit a guts to that for him. So we'll go 4 versus 2. Chaos Bag says Skull, that's a -1. Yeah, maybe I'll See You in Hell would be a good choice. But Roland does, Joe does pass the Bathophobia, and we do get to draw, Roland gets to draw a card. He gets a B-top, but that's a bit too little too late here. So we gotta get through this turn. So Roland has to kill one of these Fangs and then take the 2 actions to get rid of the Chronophobia. Joe needs to engage one of the Fangs and fight it off for a turn. So let's deal with... Hi, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it today. I think we'll go with Joe first, because Joe isn't going to die immediately. Yeah, the theme of these guys is great. Their synergy is not particularly good. They are a bit too... they have no agility to speak of, which is a real liability in this particular campaign. But we knew that going in. Joe's going first, so we will draw his hunch card, which is a working the hunch, so we can grab that clue if we want to, but we want that to stay there for the time being. He will engage one of the fangs as his first action. He is poisoned, so it has retaliate. I've got stuff to play, but I really want to... I sort of want to hang on to... how much do we need? Roland's going to take one attack. He's got to do it in one attack, so we can only commit one card from... So I think Joe will attack the Fang, committing Steadfast. Steadfast has 3 combat skill icons. So he's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 3. Oh, I can't commit stuff. Right. I cannot do that. I cannot play cards or commit cards to skill tests. So I basically just... Oh, that's killer. That's even worse than I thought it was. Because now neither of them can commit cards. So I have to do this a different way. I can't do it the way I thought I was going to, because we need... We can't engage the Fang off of... So how do we do that? I don't think we can get out of this. Because Roland can kill one of them. Roland can kill one of them if he uses the Time Worn Brand's special ability. But then he can't get rid of the chronophobia, so he dies. If Joe... No, maybe I have to do it that way. Joe engages the Fang. So Roland will have to use the special ability on the Time Worn Brand to try to kill this Fang in one shot. Now what does Joe do? He can't commit cards, so he's just a 4 versus 3 with retaliate. Yeah, it'd be great if they could help each other, but the two Fangs together is a huge issue. What happens if we fight and lose? We take... We take 2 damage and 2 horror. 3 damage and 3 horror. Yeah, it's very risky. I think he just passes his turn at that point. I'm going to take a damage and a horror from the Fang, but I can't really do anything with it. It's too risky. Okay, so Joe just engages the Fang and then loses his 2 actions. Roland is going to use the Time-Worn Brand. So he will add 3 to his fight. So he's 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to deal +3 damage. No, he's 6 versus 3, sorry, because he's got the curse. So he's 6 versus 3. Oh, that's true. He could, couldn't he? I forgot about that. That's right, Lograk. He could clear the Chronophobia. You're right. Yes. No, that's the play. Yeah, let's go back. That is the play we need to do. Okay, so Joe clears the Chronophobia first. So that is out of the way. Now... okay, that actually frees us up quite a bit. And then he could engage one of the... Or does he not engage and just commit cards? Because then he could commit cards to Roland's skill tests. And Roland could kill both of them. Yeah, I think we do that. Okay, so... Joe will... Okay, let me think this through just one more time. So if we use the Time-Worn Brand special ability, we are at 6 versus 3. Joe can pitch a card. That's true too. He does have a logical reasoning, doesn't he? And he's got 2 clues, and he's got enough. Yeah, okay, Darren, that's a good idea too. So we play the logical reasoning for 2 resources, and that gives Roland 2 more sanity. That gives him a little more. That heals 2 horror, and that takes care of that. Okay, good work, chat. Good work. We figure. I think we're getting through this puzzle here. Now it's up to Roland. So we will use the Time-Worn Brand. So we're going 6 versus 3. We will commit a Steadfast. Joe will commit a Steadfast. So that will be 3 more. Yeah, it's the Chaos Bag will determine whether we make it out of this or not. So we exhaust the Time-Worn Brand. We're going 6 versus 3. 7, 8, and... Oh, this is Steadfast with Time-Worn Brand is huge. I think it's just... No, it's just add your skill value, so it's all right. So we just get 2 more. So for a total of 3. So 3, 6, 9 versus 3. 9 versus 3 to kill one of the... to kill one of these guys. Chaos Bag says tablet. That is reveal another token. And if you fail, place a clue at your location. So let's peek at the top card. Top token is a -5. Of course, the Chaos Bag tries its damnedest to kill it. So 9 minus 5 is 4. So we pass by 1 after all of that. And we kill one of the Fangs. So yeah, that was... Fang would have killed us right there. Without that boost from Joe. And so we've got to kill this other one. That was our first action. Second action, Joe will throw this Inquiring Mind in there. So we are at 3, 6, 7, 8 versus 3. Problem is I can't kill him this time, and I'm out of cards to pitch. So it's just going to be... How about we don't die if we don't kill him this turn. So that's good. So 6 versus 3, 8 versus 3 for 2 damage. Chaos Bag says... So, last turn I drew an auto fail and a -5. This turn I draw a -5 and an auto fail. Okay, so that happened. So we take some damage in horror. Yeah, David, it's Waking Nightmare all over again. I just can't, for whatever reason, we get to these key tests, and for whatever reason, the Chaos Bag knows, and it punishes me every time. So we have only 1 life left. And we cannot kill the Fang. So that auto fail is Roland's death. I thought we had the puzzle solved, but unfortunately we do not. Oh, if Time Worn Brand is... Yeah, so it doesn't matter. We've got the gun. So that would have been a shot from the gun, not the Time Worn Brand. So, but it didn't matter in the end because we drew the auto fail. So Roland is going to die. Yes, Darren, but I can't commit cards to the skill test because Roland is poisoned. So all those beautiful, all that Inquiring Mind, that Vicious Blow, all those juicy cards, I cannot play. I can't even play the I've Had Worse to prevent the damage. I can't even play the I've Had Worse to prevent the damage, so Roland will die. We've got 1 attack. We might as well go down swinging, though. We'll shoot this thing in the face. Let's see. So now we're going 3, 4... so we'd be 4 versus 3 with the gun. Or what would an evade be? We have nothing to evade with. It'd be 2 versus 3 on the evade. But if we evade, we live. So we can't kill the Fang. That's just a fact of life. Yeah, I think the YOLO on the evade is what we've got to do. All right, here we go. We are going to go 2 versus 3 to evade the Fang of Yig. This is Roland has, this is all he's got left. So here we go. What's the Chaos Bag say? Chaos Bag says 0. So the Chaos Bag was like, yeah, maybe, but no. No, you don't. So Roland is going to die. No, Joe unfortunately has no help for him. He's just got he's got a deduction, a Dr. Mylan Christopher, and a death card that aren't going to help all that much. So Roland goes down to defeat on level 1. Wow. So so we have a choice. We can take another physical. What are we up to in physical trauma? Holy crap! 6 physical trauma. If the fall doesn't, what happens? I need to check this because. Okay, if the current depth level is 1, each investigator is killed. Yeah, so we need to... let me see here. We're at 5. Roland would take 6. So if Joe can get to depth level 2, Roland could take a mental trauma. Oh no, he can't take a mental trauma, can he? He takes a physical. So if we can get to depth level 2, Roland would have 5, 6, 7, 8 physical trauma going into the final scenario if we just don't die here. Okay. So it was nice knowing you, Roland. So the Fang will engage with Joe. And is there any point into grabbing that? So let's switch over to Joe here. This goes back in. We will draw a card. We get a magnifying glass. That's not going to help us do much of anything. Yeah, 8 trauma seems okay. Yeah, as long as we get a beat cop out, or an art student, or Alejandro, we'll live for a turn. It seems fitting that these 2 chumps would just fall off a cliff. Being from the city and all, they'd be just like, I wonder what's over here in the dark, and then just fall off a cliff, and nobody would even know they were gone. It'd be just like, well, where did Joe and Roland go? Well, we don't know. They went into that cave, never to be seen again. So, Joe drew a magnifying glass. It is the mythos phase. Welcome, Great Old Ones Gaming. Yes, I know you are. You had some plenty of trauma of your own to deal with. Let's see if Joe can make it out, or if both the boys are dying. His card is Serpent's Ire. There are no serpent enemies. Oh, we have to move this guy too. We forgot about him. You got this. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think I do. Surges into creeping poison. Each investigator who is poisoned takes a damage. Okay. And that surges. So we've got double surge this turn. Into Lost in the Wilds. Test 3 willpower. If I fail, I cannot move or explore. The bag can sense your fear. I've been beaten so badly by the bag the last 2 days that I'm black and blue. It's like you know what the chaos tokens are like? They're like bowling, not bowling balls, but cue balls, like pool balls. The chaos bag is full of pool balls, and I have just been beaten with it for the past 2 games in a row to the point where I am just black and blue. That's pretty much what has happened in the last couple games here. So we're testing Lost in the Wilds, 3 willpower. We have nothing to add to that, so we're just going 2 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so we only fail by 1. So that will be a horror. And it goes to our threat area, so we can't move or explore. So we are going to take... The Pit Warden is going to attack us, regardless of what happens here. We are fighting a Fang of Yig. We are backed into a corner. We have nothing to do but to try to kill this guy at this point. We can't commit cards or play cards. So it's just Joe fighting for his life against the Fang. The Fangs have been this duo's downfall because of the poison weakness. It was in Heart of the Elders Part 2 where one Fang killed both of them, and now we had 2 Fangs, and they are looking in very strong shape to finish them off here again. So we are going 5 versus 3 with the machete. First attack. Chaos Bag says -2. So Joe hits the Fang for 2 damage. Oh, we need a hunch here first. Hunch is no stone unturned. See, you got... Your optimism is amazing. Second action, we are going 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -5. So I've drawn a -5 in 3 turns now. 1 in 3. Each of 3 turns I've drawn a -5. So we take a damage and a horror. If we die during the enemy phase if we don't kill this guy. So we have 1 attack. Going 5 versus 3. Is this the end of Roland and Joe? Chaos Bag. Tablet. Reveal another token. Chaos Bag was like, nah. We're going to make you wait a little longer. So I just want to say that that if this is an auto fail, it's very fitting to draw auto fail -5, auto fail -5, auto fail -5 on 3 turns. So drum roll. Token is a -1. We kill the Fang of Yig. Roland lives to fight another. Oh, and Joe drew his cover up. Sorry, Roland drew cover up as his next card. So that was yes, your luck is we're still not out of the woods yet though. Because we take we had to advance that turn. I forgot. Let's advance. Might be important. So find an enemy in the pursuit area. Yeah. We've already done that. Lead investigator chooses 1 investigator to be the group's scout. That investigator checks his supplies. There's only 1 scout. I only have the rope. Nobody has rope. The scout, if the scout does not have the rope, he or she must pass combat or agility 5. If the performing investigator fails, he or she makes it to the top but suffers 1 physical trauma from the exhaustion of the climb. Okay, well, I guess we're going combat. So we're going to go combat 4 versus 5. But we don't have... we couldn't add anything anyway because we were still engaged with the Fang. Chaos Bag says -2. So if Joe makes it out, he gets another physical trauma. So he will be at 5 physical trauma. Is that correct? Where's my thing? Where's my thing? Okay, there we go. Yes, he will be at 5 physical trauma. So, if Joe, here's the stakes. If Joe can make it to level 2, as long as he takes a mental trauma, we will enter Shattered Aeons with Roland having 8 physical trauma and Joe having 7 physical trauma. Which I don't even know what to say to that. That's so crazy. I've added, God, I don't know how many physical trauma in the last couple. Thermos, yeah, Thermos, great. You got to play the Thermos first, and it's not helping me at the moment. So we go to the enemy phase. The Pit Warden moves in, hits us for a damage, and a horror. So we've got 1 life left. I think well, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. And we draw an emergency cache, so no help there. At least the Pit Warden doesn't have Retaliate. That's all I can say. So the Lost in the Wilds is gone. The Pit Warden is still with us. We go to turn 8. Joe's card is the Lightless Shadow. Test 1 agility. Oh, if we fail, we take 2 damage. So this could kill us right here. We've got nothing to add to the difficulty. So we are going 2 versus 2. 2 versus 2, or I take 2 damage and the game is over. All right. Do we need another drum roll? Nah, Chaos Bag says 0. The Chaos Bag's like, no. I'll kill you when I want to kill you. I'm not going to let some lightless shadow kill you. That would be too easy. That would be far too easy. So somehow Roland passes an agility skill test. Sure does. The Chaos Bag has its foot on my throat, and it's just beating me over the head. So it's having a great time. Joe's turn. We still have to beat this guy now, or we die. See what our card is. Oh, we need to get that back in there. It's an evidence. Hey, so if we defeat this guy. We can play evidence and grab that clue. So first attack, we are going 5 versus 4. Chaos Bag says tablet. We reveal another token. I feel like I forgot to put a clue on this. We failed a tablet test earlier and I didn't put a clue on there. So let's look at the top one. Chaos Bag says tablet. Okay, so we need to look at the top 2. And we're going to drop 2 clues if we fail this. It's a -1, so we succeed. So the Warden takes 2 damage. Let's do it again. 4 versus 3. 5 versus 4 for 2 damage. Chaos Bag says tablet again. Okay. We get a +1. All right, so the Pit Warden is dead. Let's play the evidence so we can grab a clue. We have 1 action remaining. I think we use that to play Dr. Mylan Christopher to give us a little bit more health and sanity. Otherwise, we die. So Dr. Mylan comes down. And that's our turn. So we somehow, Joe is still alive. Sitting at the starting location. And he draws a Eureka. So we need to grab this clue, move, and then we can advance to level 2. In which case the boys will survive, theoretically. Alright, well, we got a mythos phase to get through. Eureka has an agility skill icon, so that's good. Turn 9, Joe draws an Ancestral Fear, Peril Surge, place a Doom, or we add it to the victory display. Don't think we have any Vengeance in the victory display yet, do we? No, it doesn't. So we could add it. Sure, we'll add it to the victory display. It's surging anyway, so... Then we draw Deep Dark. Put Deep Dark next to the agenda deck. No more than one clue can be discovered at each location. So we are... Looks like we're going to make it out of this level. Joe. What does Joe have? We've got Eureka. We've got a flashlight. The Pit Warden should have... Sorry, Joe. Pizza 11B. The Pit Warden should have what? Oh, he should be in the... Yeah, no, you're right. He should be in the... sorry, you're right. Now I get what you're saying. He should be in the Vengeance display. So we will add that to the Vengeance. Okay, so we've got one... we've got one Vengeance point left before the... before we enter auto-fail territory with the Elder thing. Okay, so we need this clue, and then we need to leave this place. So I think we'll play the... first we need a hunch. We get a No Stone Unturned. I am going to use my magnifying glass to play that as fast. So we go to 6 intellect while investigating. We're going to go 6 versus 2. Chaos Bag says skull, that's a -1. So we grab this clue. Then we move twice to the Depths of Yoth. And at the end, it's at the end of the round. Is it not? Yes, we've got 6 clues, so at the end of the round we will advance to the next level. So Joe draws a shortcut, and we advance. We made it out of level 1. Hooray. Way to go, Joe. So we add 1 resource to the depth level. Each investigator who is not at Depths of Yoth is defeated. Well, Roland was already dead. We lose all the clues. Small victories. We'll take small victories. We're nearly dead. We move each enemy in play to the pursuit area. There are no enemies in the pursuit area. Remove all doom from locations in play. Set each location in play in the exploration a deck out of side. Draw a random set aside location. Create deck. Flip it over. Okay. Hi, Ramon. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. You haven't missed much. We have only made it to level 2, and we've lost one investigator in the process. So let us shuffle up these locations. So we are going to start at the City of Serpents this time around. Two clues per investigator. While it has no clues on it, it counts as in the vengeance display. We need to find the Depths of Yoth. Put that in there, and then we will shuffle these up. 2, 3, 4. Shuffle those up, and we are ready to go to the next level. Okay. Shuffle that up, and we are ready to go. Okay, we go to the next mythos phase. Turn 10, and our first on level 2. Joe draws Children of Volusia. We put it into play next to the agenda deck. Serpents get +1 fight and +1 evade. At the end of the round, discard 1 copy of Children of Volusia. So the children aren't going to hurt us. So now we just need to do some investigating. Let's... we're going to save that. So we are a 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, we're 7 intellect while investigating. So Joe is going to go 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a -3, so we grab a clue. Joe will do it again. We will gain a resource with Dr. Mylan Christopher. We'll do it again. We get a 0. And then we will explore as our final. Let's see what we do here. We get Caverns of Yoth. That is fair game. It has 2 clues on it. After it enters play, place clues on it equal to the current depth level. Okay, so there are 4 clues there. But it does not lead to where we want to go. So we can go back to City of Serpents and try to... we could actually make it to level 3. I think Joe might actually do better now that Roland is dead. That's the really sad thing about this, is that Joe is so good at getting clues that he may just be able to cruise through a couple levels and make it. Did we draw? No, we didn't draw one. We need to do that. We drew his weakness. So that would be... Place one of your clues on the location with the highest shroud. I didn't have any clues. Forced, if unresolved case, would be shuffled into your hunch deck. Add it to your threat area instead. We gain 2 fewer experience points. So I just would have had to have played 2 resources for it. Okay, I've got to take a step back because we wouldn't have explored. We had 1 action remaining. Let's go back here. Stupid hunch deck always gets me. Okay, so we drew his weakness as his hunch. So that would have been... We would need to pay 2 resources. And we would have gained 2. We would have investigated. So that would have gained us 2 resources. Then we would have... paid 2 to play this. So where does this go? So we would have just removed it from the game. Okay. Fair enough. So we dealt with his weakness, but we didn't go exploring. So that solves that turn. And we drew another magnifying glass as our card. Children of the Valusia goes away. We advance during the mythos phase. If the Harbinger is set aside, move it to the pursuit area. So this guy's coming. Whoops, he has 2 damage on him. Find the enemy in the pursuit area with the highest evade value. That spawn it at the location where the investigators began at this. Oh, so we get the Harbinger right off the bat. Oh, nice. So if we can kill him, if we can hit him twice, we can get rid of him. Oh no, we need to hit him 4 times. Oh yeah, this is bad news. Okay, so that's really bad. Looks like level 2 is the max. Draw an encounter card. It's Children of Valusia. Serpents get +1 fight and evade. Of course, this guy's a serpent. So he's 4 fight, alert, and retaliate. So all we can do is we can't hit him 4 times. So he is going to kill us. It's just how he kills us that is important. He will kill us with... he's going to give us a physical trauma. So let's go down swinging. We might as well. We are 4, 5 versus... 5 versus 4. Chaos Bag says 0, so we hit him for 2 damage. If we can do 20 damage to him, we could take him out. And we hit him, so we place a resource on him. We only need to do that 3 more times. We have 2 actions remaining. Let's do it again. Chaos Bag gives us another 0. And one more time. We get a 0, 0 plus 1. So basically Joe is soloing the Harbinger now. Because he's just a combat monster. Okay. And we needed one more... we needed one more attack in order to... I guess we could have tried to evade him, but what is our evade at? 2, 3, 4... Actually, no, we should have evaded him. We should have tried to evade him, because then if we evade him, we actually could try to take him out next turn. So let's throw these 2 cards in there for the evade. Because he'll kill us. He was going to kill us either way, so if we evade him, he doesn't kill us. So we're going 4 versus 3. No, 4 versus 4. 4 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us a -3, and he retaliates and kills us. So that is the end of... Depths of Yoth. Really rough run. We knew it was going to be bad at the beginning, but it just got worse. So let's see where we stand in the whole trauma picture, because that will matter. So Roland started with 5 physical and 2 mental, and Joe started with 4 physical. So Joe takes he takes 2 physical trauma for 6. Roland takes another physical trauma for 6. And then, actually, I think Joe dies. I believe Joe is dead, because he will take... So we go to the resolution. If the death level is currently 2, each investigator suffers 2 physical trauma and searches the collection for a basic injury weakness. So Roland would take 2 more physical trauma for 8, and Joe would take 2 more physical trauma for 8, and Joe dies. So after all of that, Joe is the one who ends up dead, and Roland ends up having 8 physical trauma and 2 mental trauma. Wow. That's... Suffice to say, I think that that will be the end of the campaign. As much as I would like to play Shattered Aeons with an investigator who has 8 physical trauma and 2 mental trauma, and then another investigator, a new investigator, who is fresh off the boat, that would be, I think, very frustrating. Yeah, poor Joe. He managed to drag himself across level 2, but for the lack of a rope, he suffers that 1 physical trauma that ends up killing him. Again, falling off the ledge. So what else is there? VPs. 1. We killed the Serpent of Yoth, I believe. So if I was so inclined, I could go to Shattered Aeons. Roland would have 1 victory point, and I believe the new investigator would... I'm not sure if he'd get the 1 or the 0, but at this point, it doesn't much matter. So, what this has taught me is never play 2 low agility investigators through the Forgotten Age. It is a recipe for disaster. Or you need to really load up on medicine. Basically, just bring medicine and food, and that's all you can really hope for to stave off the poison, because that really hurt us with those Fangs of Yig. I'm amazed that we made it. Actually, we didn't make it through. Roland ended up dying. It seemed like with the chat's help, we almost got there. We almost got to the end, and then we failed that way. We had that streak where we drew an auto fail and a -5, an auto fail and a -5, and an auto fail. I'm not sure if it happened twice or 3 times, but that was enough to really hinder our progress. And Roland went down. Joe managed to drag himself across to level 2, but then the Harbinger popped, and we just didn't have the goods to... we needed 1 evade, and then we needed to hit him 2 more times, and we might have been able to make it through, but he did not. So that will be the... I think this will be the end of the campaign. Roland and Joe made a valiant effort. They had a really good run through City of Archives, but then again, they were Yithians. They weren't themselves. So, I don't know what that says. I guess they had the best game when they didn't have to play their own investigators. But otherwise, we had a good run through Untamed Wilds. We had a very good game of Doom of Estley, one of my favorite, probably one of my best games of Doom of Estley of all time. That was a really good game. And then Threads of Fate, we bobbled. We should have been really good in that one with the investigation, but we just weren't able to get the job done. And then it just went downhill from there. We had a very bad run through Boundary Beyond. Heart of the Elders was Part 1 was a nightmare. Heart of the Elders Part 2, we died almost immediately. City of Archives was good, and then we barely managed to pull out a Depths of Yoth level 2 on Depths. Let's see what Roland's weakness would be, just out of curiosity's sake. He needs an injury. That is not an injury. Nope. 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 getting all the madnesses. Don't think there are that many injuries in this deck. Yeah, so he would have gotten an internal injury in the end from all of that physical trauma, no doubt. So that is going to do it for this stream. Thanks everyone for coming out today on a Thursday to watch me get beaten by the Chaos Bag. I appreciate everyone's help who commented in the chat. Thanks to everyone who showed up and commented. It's always great to talk to you. Always great fun to play this game with a bunch of people watching. And we will be back with a new campaign here. If there is a particular investigator or pair of investigators that you would like to see played, drop me a line at manfromleng@gmail.com. Let me know what you'd like to see, and we will make that happen. So until next time, I hope the Chaos Bag treats you better than it has treated me over the past 2 days, because it has really beaten me. But I will be back for more here in the next few days with more playthroughs and working on reviews for all the cards. And of course, we had the tantalizing preview of the Innsmouth Conspiracy, so more information about that expansion will be coming out over the next days and months, and we will be back. Hopefully we'll see a preview for an investigator that we can take for a quick run to see how that works out, and we will go from there. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will see you next time. That's going to do it for this stream. If you enjoy what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Head over to patreon.com to become a patron of the channel and support playthroughs and reviews and the other content I create here for the Arkham Horror LCG. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromleng@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromleng. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.